Hey everybody, it's Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Welcome to your reading. Today's reading is about your career, and the reading is called What Does Your Employer Think of You, and Should You Try to Find a New Job? For those of you that have been considering that, let's go ahead and take a look at the piles. So we have pile number 1, which represents the red pepper, pile number 2, which represents the bananas, pile number 3, which represents the grapes. So take a deep breath, anchor yourself into the earth, and ask yourself, what am I feeling today? Do I feel like the red pepper? Do I feel bananas? Do I feel like grapes? Okay, and I hope everybody's Mercury retrograde has been going well so far. Mine has been tumultuous, as I expected. So that is okay. We know what that's all about and why it's happening. You know, the funny thing is you can see the transits coming up. You can tell everyone else and warn everyone else not what to do, and then go and do it yourself, which I think is fairly hilarious. And I'm just gonna grab my Florida water here, give us a little cleansing, and let's go ahead and get into it. For pile number 1, you chose the red pepper. Thank you for being here today. Today's reading is called What Does Your Employer Think of You, and Should You Apply for a New Job? So let's go ahead and get into it for today. I'm going to get your cards out first, and then we will look at your oracle and then move back to the tarot, okay? So let's go ahead and see. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me to the energy today for my beautiful pile number 1s who come here with an open heart and an open mind seeking your guidance. Thank you for allowing me to be the medium and the channel between yourself and pile number 1. Let's go ahead and see, what does your current employer think of you for the top row, and then should you find a new job on the bottom row? What does pile number 1's employer think of them? Okay. And should pile number 1 go about looking for a new opportunity? Ooh, we have strength on the bottom of the deck. I like it. That makes me feel like you have a guardian angel watching your back, pile number 1, and no matter what happens, you're gonna be fine either way. So let me go ahead, and I didn't really fathom how much room this was going to take here. Let me scoot some of these cards over, and then here we will lay out your oracle cards, okay? We have shield. You need to defend yourself. Okay. We have boat, money or property through an inheritance, winning, or windfall. I like that. Okay, pile number 1. We have dove and forgiveness. We have lion and leadership. Now that's lovely with strength on the bottom of the deck here. Interesting. Okay, we have Uranus and revolution, breakthroughs, transforming, originality, insight, awakening, technology, innovation, humanitarianism, experimentation, the unexpected, a rupture, diversity, and lightning. Okay, so perhaps some of you here work in technology, or you work in some type of innovative humanitarian field, and the freedom to experiment more with what you're doing and the freedom to do things differently is perhaps what you guys are looking towards in your job. Now, some of you may have felt a little bit defensive here with this you need to defend yourself shield. Perhaps there are people that didn't really agree with your vision, or you didn't feel like they had your back, or you didn't feel like you were, I feel pile number 1, you feel like you really had to stand up for yourself at the same time, okay? And I feel like you guys could have forgiven somebody in a leadership position, or someone is forgiving you, okay? And with this boat, I feel like we're moving on from a tumultuous time, okay? Things are changing here, pile number 1, with where you're at with Uranus. 0. I like that. With Uranus, I love that. That's very Fool type of energy in the tarot. There is no beginning and no end. All is infinite. It is time to develop your spiritual side. You are gaining new sight and understanding of both godly and earthly things. I am limitless. Yeah, so an opportunity where you can step up to the plate and really be and also have the room to do things your way, okay? And perhaps you guys tried to do something at your job, or you tried to help, or you tried to step up to a leadership position, or you did something at your job that you feel you had to defend yourself against, okay? And here's the thing, it's really easy for people who are sitting on the sideline doing the same thing, not trying anything different, for them to criticize people who are trying to like be innovative, to be different. And perhaps some of you are feeling like you're having to defend an idea or defend something that you were working on. Pile number 1, okay? We have Pisces here and sensitize, sensitive, okay? And I feel like your work could either think, your employer could think that you're very sensitive to change, or you don't like a change in leadership that has been going on, pile number 1. Or perhaps your employer feeling like you're very sensitive at this time and maybe a little bit defensive of some of the things that you've been doing, okay? We have Cancer and immerse. I actually like this though, because I feel like if there was any questioning about you or why you were doing something, I actually feel that your employer thinks that whoever your boss is there, whoever's watching over your work, feels like you're a lot like them. And I like this because we have 2 water signs here. But what I also see is people who can get their feelings hurt pretty easily. Okay. And perhaps, there is some of that going on. And not everybody tolerates the same level of change. And sometimes with the lion in leadership, people can perceive someone as being bossy or or trying to take control of things, or being bossy, or trying to take over things. And yeah, it's interesting. I do feel like there is some sensitivity where you're at, and people could be sensitive to criticism. They could be sensitive to things that are said. But I also kind of feel with Cancer and Pisces here, I do feel like there are people that are willing to go along with what leadership wants and not ask any questions about it. Like there are people who are willing to accept what's going on, or toe the line, or like not say anything when something is coming up, okay? I do feel this Cancer energy here is a little bit more active, a little bit more defensive, and some of you here too, we could have Moon in Cancer as well, okay? And I feel like your employer thinks that perhaps they did something to set you off, or to make you become defensive about something. It's interesting because the water signs in astrology are considered mute. It doesn't mean they don't know how to talk or they don't talk, but there may be a lot of feelings and a lot of people being quiet about stuff and not really saying things when somebody should be saying things. Also, people getting their feelings hurt kind of easily, like I mentioned. I do feel like there is some type of change going on, and I do feel like your employer sees that you're trying to change something. I feel pile number 1, okay? And or that you're changing in some type of a way. And they may wonder what direction you want to head in, okay? But I also think if something was said or done at your job, or somebody said something and you came off spicy with this red pepper here, or you were coming off defensive towards something or emotional towards something. I also feel with this Pisces energy, like somebody did a 180. Somebody was going in one direction and then decided, no, I don't want to do that anymore. It's kind of surprising, And when we have Uranus energy in the workplace, it's very like, it's very high voltage in the sense that every day is different, everything's changing. But I also feel like your employer thinks that you have really good ideas, pile number one. And I do think they think you're a natural leader with this lion here. And I do think that they think, that you have really cool ideas, that you're innovative, that, you're a person that is interested in changing things, or you're a person that's interested in changing processes or procedures, etc. And possibly not everyone else is, on board with that, or some other people might be a little bit more miffed, or a little bit more like, why is pile number one acting different? So I do feel like, your work is onto you a little bit, pile number one. And perhaps some of you guys are deciding, I need to change directions and go after my future more directly. Perhaps some of you are wanting to go after a leadership position and are thinking of leaving with this boat here to find a leadership position at a different company or to move up. Okay. And I find it interesting, pile number one. I mean, there's one thing to say for Cancer energy, like it gets very comfortable. That's one thing you could say, is Cancer does seek comfort. But Cancer is also a cardinal sign. So it will make changes and it will move on and it will go different places if it doesn't if things are if things aren't changing, and if things aren't moving in the direction that they want them to move in, they will eventually leave or go somewhere else for better leadership opportunities or to make more money. So it says here, interesting, you need to defend yourself, and then money or property through an inheritance, winning, or windfall. Okay. Perhaps some of you there could be for some of you going on something with the family inheritance as well, for those of you that are dealing with those issues. But I also wouldn't really talk about that. If you are inheriting some type of a money or something like that, I wouldn't talk about that at work. I wouldn't. I would keep things quiet about that, okay? And if you have, if you say, well, I want to try this or do this, and you find yourself having to defend yourself a lot. I mean, Cancer energy can be very defensive as well, too. I feel like, maybe you would want to check out some other opportunities. We have Strength here on the bottom of the deck. So I feel like no matter what, you are fine. Okay, you're in a strong position, pile number one. Let's see, what does your employer think of you here? We have the 10 of Cups, okay. Yeah, forgiveness, the doves, okay. We have the Magician, ooh, okay. We have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, you want to get your ideas across, and you are, not one to sit back and just let things go over your head. If you don't understand something, you're going to ask questions. But I also feel like with the Knight of Swords, that defensive energy, or that, the Knight of Swords can be a little bit argumentative or a little bit defensive, particularly when they are defending something, okay? I mean, we all can be, that's fine. I feel like your employer wants to give you what you want though, pile number one. I really do. I mean, it's not that they don't like your ideas, or that they don't think that you're smart, or they don't think that you have skills. The Magician is very skilled and very talented, and the Magician has skills in many different areas, not just one area. And the Magician is very powerful, and is a powerful speaker as well too. And with the 10 of Cups, I feel like with the Pisces energy is very much along with that 10 of Cups, like, and you can see here's the 2 cups coming together with the rainbow in between, and it's like, let's toast to this, and everyone else is kind of going along with it, and they like it when you're happy and kind of going along with things, pile number one. But I also think they think that you've got some really innovative ideas, and The interesting thing with the Knight of Swords in the tarot is it represents Aquarius, and we have this Uranus energy here, so definitely very innovative, very smart. I mean, Uranus is a planet that's associated with genius. And so, you guys are not like, you're not dumb, pile number one. I'll give you that, my friends. And you do have a powerful voice, and I feel like they're thinking about giving you what you want. Okay, like, if you asked for something, or if you were feeling like you had to you presented something, or you felt like you needed to ask for a raise or something like that, with this Ace of Pentacles here, I feel like this employer wants to give you what you want. Okay, they're like, here you go. And as long as it keeps you happy, I feel like with this Ten of Cups, I think they actually think, the Magician is hot shit. So, you guys are in the power position, I feel, in a way here with this Strength card. And I do think you have the attention of leadership. And, if they did something to upset you, I kind of feel like they want to, make it up to you. We have the Four of Swords here, okay? And, this is what they think of you. So I feel like, they want to give you what you want so that you're not like, and I like, it's interesting here. Now, here's an interesting thing. Do you feel like sometimes your employer gives you what you want to pacify you, or just to kind of shut you up? Do you feel that sometimes, pile number one? Do you feel like they will turn around and give you something that, they're like, oh, this will make pile number one happy, but it's not actually what you wanted? I kind of feel like they're like, well, we gave you what you wanted, or we gave you what you wanted, so we really don't want to, we don't really want to hear a whole lot more like complaining going on. And it's funny because the mouth is covered up here, and the mouth is kind of disappeared. And so, I think they can tell when you're content and when you're happy and when you're not happy, because I feel like you guys do voice your opinions. But I also kind of feel like, maybe sometimes they want you to be like a little bit less defensive, or maybe they want you to, be a little bit more mild, because the Four of Swords is kind of like more of a mild type of energy. Like, maybe they want you to toe the line a little bit more, or maybe they don't want so much complaints, or they want you to be happy with what you're getting and not ask any more questions. It's like, be happy with what we're giving you. We really don't want to answer any more questions about this. They don't like disruptions, okay? Disruptions are on the bottom of the deck. And, Pisces energy is very much like flow, and so they want everything to flow like a well-oiled machine, and they don't want there to be a lot of drama, and there is a lot of sensitivity, and they don't like a lot of like disruption, or, people suggesting 1,000 different ways to do things. And it's a fine line sometimes. Like, am I being innovative and am I speaking my mind, or do these people think I'm just a disruption? And I feel like what they're saying is, we hope by giving you what you want, or throwing you a bone, or giving you something that you want, that you won't be as disruptive. And I don't know if you guys really, because I think they value harmony in the environment. Uranus is very disruptive, and Uranus is not like, Uranus is like, let's pinpoint what's going wrong and come up with alternative solutions to things, okay? And it's funny because a lot of these technology companies, they call themselves disruptors, or they say we're disruptors in the market, and, companies wanting their employees to be innovative and bring ideas and stuff. But at the same time, you have to ask yourself sometimes, how much disruption do these people want? Are they actually seeking before? And I feel like one thing for you guys is like, you like to be heard, and you don't like to feel like you don't just want to shut up and do your thing. You want to feel like you have a voice in what you're doing, or a say in what you're doing. Okay, pile number one. And I feel like some of you are saying, yeah, I got recruited into this company because I have these unique technical skills, the magician, the knight of swords, or I have this very unique background, and they, recruited me in because of that, or they wanted me because I have this unique background. But it seems like they value more like social harmony than they value people actually giving their opinions. And so, I feel like there's something going on with that, pile number one, for sure. Now, should you find a new job or not? We have the King of Wands. Ooh, we have the Three of Wands. Interesting. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. We have the King of Pentacles. Oh my God, what is going on? Have you guys already been applying to jobs? Have you already been, do you already have your sights set on, some of you, maybe you're doing the thing where you take the money or you take the higher offer from your employer now, and then you use that to gain leverage in another situation. I mean, I feel like some of that could be going on here too. But I do feel like you guys are being very ambitious, and you're very driven by money too, with this boat, money or property coming in. Okay. And I do feel like there is another employer on the horizon for you guys. Okay. And some of you may be contemplating going to a startup, or going to a place that is more like where you can do your own thing. Some of you may be thinking about, saving up, getting an investment, and then going to do your own thing. I also see that too. But this is interesting because you have two kings here. You have the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands. And, I feel like some of you guys may already have another job offer, or you may have another thing going on. The thing is you're more interested in I feel pile number one, like you want to take your talents, your connections, the things that you've learned. I feel like you guys want to take that into an environment where things are more like fast paced, or things are more like you get more autonomy, okay? Because Uranus is all about, seeking autonomy and not wanting, like somebody like who's constantly, like Uranus doesn't want to feel appeased. Uranus wants to have autonomy, and Uranus can also be a nonconformist and confrontational at times too. And that can get in the way sometimes of harmonious work environments. And I think your current company likes you, but I think they also feel like if they did recently, throw you a bone or tell you, okay, we want you to be happy, here's this, here's that, okay, we're listening, we'll do this, we'll do that. Is it a penny short or a penny late, or a dollar short and a day late, or whatever that whole thing is. Now, there's this stability here with the King of Pentacles. There is stability, okay? There's excitement, King of Wands and Three of Wands, versus stability, And I do feel if somebody came along with, because I feel like you're thinking that there is somebody at your current company that's not willing to budge, or isn't willing to, there's not as many opportunities for growth. And perhaps some of you are wanting to go to a place where you can be more like calling the shots, or it's the difference between working for a company who's been around for a really long time and has a built brand around it, but does things the same way and just wants everyone to get along and doesn't really want to change things, but is very stable, versus going to some place that is maybe a little bit smaller, but is more involved, where it's a more fast-paced environment, or there's more opportunity for you to kind of make decisions. For those of you that work in finance, with this money or property through inheritance, winning, or windfall, for those of you that work in some type of a financial field, there's the tried and true company versus the up and coming company with an exciting entrepreneur who is telling you, you can take the reins on this, you can go for this, there's so much opportunity. 3 of Wands, there's so much opportunity here, and it's attractive. I feel it's very, very attractive, because I feel like, it's kind of a watery environment where you're at right now, and I feel like you guys are more of an air type of an energy, or you're more of a fire air type of energy. And I'm not talking about your own individual astrology chart. I'm talking about the environment you like to work in, or that you feel you can be, because the Knight of Pentacles is ambitious, it is ambitious. And, I feel like you guys want to take all your experiences and what you've learned and move towards a different type of company that's more like, okay, we're going to give you this, you can run this, or you're going to be responsible for this, do your thing, I'm doing my thing, you do your thing. Like maybe less oversight and more ability to, support something that's growing and exciting is what I feel. Okay. So if you guys are, pile number 1, if you're young and you're a mover and shaker and you got ideas and you got things you want to do and you got, you want to do it, then hey, pile number 1. Ooh, we have the Twins here and the Lovers. Okay, so that's interesting energy. This is coming out under should you get a new job. And some of you may have a partner. If you have a partner and they're telling you, hey, I support you in what you want to do, like go ahead and do it. Or if you have a friend or family member or somebody close to you encouraging you, telling you, go for it. Hey, go for it, But, Gemini, the Lovers or the Twins actually is more about like mentally agreeing on something, or, and when we're out of balance in that energy, we're not really sure. And we're not really like, we're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I feel you guys are going to make a decision. Okay. And I do feel like you're going to be like, okay, me and this person, we're on the same page. We think the same. And I think that's kind of important for you guys. I mean, I think you guys like differing opinions and people with, diverse ideas and everything too. But, a big question here is like, how do I want to play this, with the Lovers coming up? And the Lovers definitely has to do with a fork in a road or a decision that needs to be made. And, perhaps that's a pros and cons list or something like that needs to be made, and deciding like, are we on the same page? Do we have the same vision? Okay. And, and some of you here may even one day decide you want to go into business with a partner, or somebody that you care about. I could also see that happening too. Let's get a little bit more energy on this Lovers here, on the Twins, okay? I feel like you're like, I'm more aligned. I feel your current company doesn't want to lose you. I feel they might be a little bit salty to lose you, pile number 1. But I also feel like, somebody could be offering you a leadership position with limitless potential for you to kind of do whatever you want and do your thing. And that'd be really interesting. Okay. And if you're like, well, I haven't found something like that, then I feel like the answer to that is don't give up, with strength there. Don't give up. Know your worth. okay? And let's go ahead and see. For some of you, those of you who have a partner or a close confidant in your life, they may have some really good words of wisdom for you about your work, okay? And or they may be willing to back you up on something here too. Let's see. Let's see, Spirit, can you, okay, we have Ghost here. All right, some love energy is coming through in this reading. A ghost, all right. Yeah, it's almost like here one day, gone the next. Spirit, can you tell me regarding this twins energy? Can you show me what is the message on the lovers? What is the message on the lovers? What is the message? All right, what is the message on the lovers? Got it. Space, okay. On the space and ghost, you know, needing to take some time here. We have surrender and hunger. Okay, so, you know, definitely, like, because I see the big heart too, it's like, what are you most hungry for and what do you most love and what lights you up the most? And, you know, perhaps some of you are needing to stop going back and forth so much in your mind and just realize what is really, and you know, the interesting, because the hunger here with Cancer, that's interesting too. But I feel some of you are just sick of going back and forth with this pile number one. Okay. And I feel like, you know, with this ghost here, with this Four of Swords, I feel like some of you may feel like your heart really isn't in it, like, because you know that things may be kind of temporary where you're currently at. And so you may not be, you know, and I feel like when your ideas are not heard and you're not seen, I feel at work, and you feel like you just have to go along with things, I feel like you guys lose your motivation and you lose your, you know, it factor or your pizzazz, you know? And so I feel like, you know, this hunger kind of reminds me of the sun and being, and I just feel some of you are sick of going back and forth about it and you want to make a decision because, and I feel some of you here are hungry to change your work environment. And it's not like it's completely horrible, but it's not fun going to work thinking that you have to defend yourself all the time either. Like, you know, it's exhausting and it blows. And so I get where you're going. It's like, I don't want to have to fight for every little thing. I don't want to have to constantly feel like I'm having to explain why I'm doing something. It's just, you know, it's not working for me. So I kind of feel like that's what this lover's energy is about. It's like kind of just admitting to yourself what it is that you want and need is what I feel. And perhaps some of you need some space here too on the bottom of the deck to really, but I also feel some of you are like, no, I've been taking space. I'm kind of sick of it. I feel some of you are ready to take action, okay? Especially with that Strength card. So pile number one, my advice to you is that I think your current employer appreciates you, likes you, doesn't want you to leave. But I also feel like, you know, they may not be exactly what you need. And in the long run, you may not be exactly what they need in the long run. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't feel like you're going to lose your job tomorrow or anything. I don't feel that energy. I just feel that in the long run, in the short run, I don't know. I feel like it's not bad. You know, the Four of Swords isn't bad, but the twins, the lovers is better than the Four of Swords, you know? So, and sometimes it's like, well, I don't want to I'm not going to like change a bunch of things right now. I'm exhausted. I need some time. I need some space to think about things, but you can only do that for so long, you know? So pile number one, my advice to you is to see what else is out there and see what other opportunities are out there. And if you find something that really calls your spirit, give it a chance, you know? What do you have to lose? So thank you so much, pile number one. I really appreciate your reading, and very interesting career reading for you. I hope that gives you some food for thought, pile number one. And I'd love to hear any comments or feedback that you have on your reading. Let's go ahead and move into pile number two. Okay. Pile number two, welcome to your reading. You chose the bananas, and today's reading is called What Does Your Employer Think About You, and Should You Go for a New Job or Not? Okay? Curious. A work reading for my pile number twos. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, I don't know why when I started your guys' reading, I started to feel a little nervous, pile number two. Maybe you guys have been a little nervous lately, or a little anxiety, or a little uptight about something, pile number two, but let's take a deep breath. Okay, my babies, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's do it for my pile number twos. First, we're gonna lay out the cards for should you, or what does your employer think about you, for pile number two, and then what should you get a new job, okay? There we go. What does your employer think about you? Should you get a new job? Okay. The star card on the bottom of the deck. I like it. Interesting. Well, I do feel it's interesting because the star card, I feel especially in this deck, this particular energy here, I don't know if you guys can make out the card too well, but she does look a little exhausted. She does look a little bit tired of things, or perhaps feeling overworked or overwhelmed, or underappreciated. So maybe some of you have been feeling that, or maybe you felt like I lost my spark, or I also feel like some of you may have two jobs, or you're having to pour a lot of energy into one job, but there's something else that you really want to do. Okay. And it's almost like I just felt like a shadow kind of come across her face, pile number two. So perhaps some of you have been in deep thought, looking for inspiration for how to change or challenge your situation. All right, and let's see what else we have here. We're gonna look at the oracle first. We have Bull. Do not back down from opposition. Show strength and fortitude. Ooh, I like it. I love an angry bull. Good for you, pile number two. And I feel you're annoyed, pile number two. I feel you are annoyed. You're very strong at work, and perhaps some of you do the job of 2 or 3 people or more. You're very, very strong, but I also feel like you won't be used, you know, and you're too good for that. You're too smart for that. And if you're not feeling appreciated, or you're feeling used, I can see where, you know, you're going to be mad. I feel some of you, this bull's looking at me like I'm about ready to trample you. I feel some of you are a little mad, pile number two. We have wreath, sorrow, or loss. Okay, and this could be the way that a job treated you when you were going through a tough time, or when you were going through, for example, a loss in your family, a relationship loss, a health issues, whatever it may be, pile number two. Like, you know, I feel like some of you feel underappreciated, and that you try your best and do your best, but this company isn't appreciating you and doesn't understand what you're going through. It reminds me when I worked for this company back in the day, and I was going through a really hard breakup, and I told my boss I'm gonna need a couple days off, and she was fine with that. But she kept texting me in the middle of it as I was trying to like move out, and it was a very high pressure, high stress situation. And, you know, she was asking me some questions about some clients, and you know, after just a day or two of her doing that while I was out, I finally had to tell her, look, I cannot work right now. Like I need to get out of this situation. And so it kind of reminds me of that a little bit, when employers are not appreciative of their employees and what they have going on in their lives. Also, if you guys have had big layoffs at your job, or someone you really liked quit and now all the work got dumped on you, or people have been gone or out and you've been, shouldering the majority of the work, I feel like you guys are like, oh, hell no, not anymore with this crap, okay? We have sea otter and kinship, okay? And we have joy, hummingbird. Aw. Well, I feel like people at your office would be or your work office, wherever you work, would be very sad to see you go, because I do feel like there's some people that you work with that think that you're really nice and lovely, and that you really take care of people and that you make people laugh and that you're a good friend. We see that Aquarian energy of kind of, wanting to make sure everyone's okay or take care of everybody, or, wanting to do things for the community or helping out and doing extra things around, like taking on extra duties for the good of everyone else, that type of energy. And I feel like, normally you're like happy around at work, pile number 2, and like you're really a swell person to be around, and you make other people feel happy too. And perhaps you guys bring in food, or perhaps you go out to lunch with people and you talk to people. I feel your work thinks that you're a really good person, or thinks that you're like a really friendly person, and that I feel like your coworkers definitely think that you're a joy to be around. And I also feel like people could have taken advantage of that though, pile number 2. Like they could have taken advantage of your good nature, or taken advantage of your willingness to help out. And, and I feel like some of you are like, I am not like, I'm not anybody's bitch. Don't get me wrong. I like y'all, or I'm here or whatever, but I'm not going to, if this is going to be a one-sided thing, don't expect me to keep doing it. Okay. We have the 12th house and surrender. And that, it's interesting because this 12th house and sorrow over loss came up earlier. But, the 12th house also has to do with just plain exhaustion. And, like fighting over your time, or fighting over resources, or, wanting you guys to work overtime when you're sick, or, wanting you to come in or do things when you aren't feeling well, when you're sick, when you're exhausted. Like, this is shit. And the 12th house is also where we can feel very unseen. Like we don't feel appreciated. We don't feel seen for the efforts that we're putting in. And, like people could be fighting over your time because you do a good job at work. They want you to work with them. I'm also seeing initials here. I'm seeing SK. I'm seeing a C. I'm seeing an F. Okay. An O. All right. But I feel like people fighting over your time, or fighting over resources, and you guys are tired. That's the thing, I feel. And I mentioned that with the 12th house, some of you could be extremely exhausted. And so you're mad because it's like, do not, and the 12th house in Western astrology does have to do with the house of our hidden enemies as well. So you're like, I was nice to these people. I treated them good. I did nice things for them. And this is the kind of shit you want to bring to me? I feel some of you are mad, pile number 2. Okay, and some of you may have Aquarius or Taurus in your chart because of the star card and this bull here. It may take you a lot to get mad, pile number 2. I also feel, because you are such a nice, friendly person, I feel. But, you know, the 12th house energy can also be, when we have a ton of planets in the 12th house, it can be, or just a lot of transits happening in the 12th house, this can make us feel like we're being taken advantage of, you know? And so I get it, pile number 2. If you're like, I am pissed off, okay? We have here, I am brilliant. Yes, like the star card, very brilliant, very bright, a bright light for other people, a bright light to guide other people, to inspire people, you know. You possess a very refined mind and a deep urge to uncover life's mysteries. Your ability to acquire vast knowledge on both the informational and spiritual planes gives you a greater awareness than most people. Abso-frickin-lutely. With the 12th house is also a house of the spiritual, the unseen. It has to do with compassion. It does have to do with karma, dreams, forgiveness, Akashic records, psychic development, spiritual development. You have that in spades, I feel, with the star card being associated with Aquarius and that, you know, humanitarian spirit of, you know, I want to help, I want to be of service, I want to do things, I want to, you know, be a part of something that actually contributes to society. Like, I feel like you guys have a lot of, you know, compassion and emotional awareness of what other people are going through, okay? And that's why you don't mind helping out, or you don't mind stepping up to the plate, or you don't mind doing extra things. But when people start to take advantage of that, you know, it's like, hell no, fuck you. So I get it, pile number 2, I really do. Oh yeah, we have Mars. And that's coming out under this kinship. So some of you could be very mad at somebody at work who thinks that you're their friend, and you're like, no, bitch, I see the writing on the wall, and I feel like you're trying to take advantage of me, and I'm not, you know, I don't like it. And I feel some of you have been very mad at work, and I do feel like your employer can tell, or can tell that you've been very temperamental or angry or upset about something, like your usual, like just, you know, joyful, nice, chatter, you know, self, like just your, I mean, I feel like Taurus energy, and whether you're a Taurus or not, like I'm a Taurus, I can relate, pile number 2, but you know, bulls, we don't really like to bother other people. We just stick to our business. We just do our thing, show up, do our thing. We're not here to cause anybody any trouble. We're not here to do anything, you know, egregious to anybody else. We just want to, you know, come in, do our job, and you know, be nice and be well and be gone, you know. And it's like with Mars, I feel like you guys are fed up is the energy that I am getting, and I feel like you're pissed off, actually, pile number 2. We have Sun here. Ooh, Sun and Mars. You know, the Sun is really wanting to be seen. And like I said, in the 12th house, things are not being seen for what they are. They can become distorted, okay? But it's like, you know, I feel also too that you are a source of joy, or you're a source of light, of brilliant, beautiful diamond, shining like a diamond. Like Rihanna would say, shine bright like a diamond. I feel like you guys really are that inspiring person that motivates people, you know. And Sun Mars is very motivating, and when it has a task that it's doing that's fun, that it likes, it has, you know, unending energy reserves, you know. Kind of reminds me of my little sister, who, you know, is always like a ray of sunshine at her job, and everybody loves her, and she has the best attitude, and she's just very bubbly and upbeat, and, you know, she has so much energy, and you know, she's just like this type of person. And she's funny because she's a Taurus too, but you know, it's interesting when people like that in the workplace start to get taken advantage of, or aren't appreciated, or, you know, aren't backed up during times when they're going through something challenging, you know. And so I kind of feel like your employer does notice you. They see you, and they can tell that you're mad or that you're fed up with something. But I also feel like they think no matter what happens that you are exceptional, you know, like you certainly are exceptional. And some of you may be going through a hard time right now here with this sorrow and loss, but you know, I do feel like your employer thinks that you are very exceptional, but perhaps you're not feeling as motivated anymore, pile number 2, because you're mad, right? Because do not back down from opposition, show strength and fortitude. Mars and the sun. Yeah, so if you feel like people are taking advantage, not treating you right, then it definitely needs to be addressed. Like it needs to, you know, Mars is about taking action, and Sun is about glory and honor and recognition, promotion, like, you know, and I feel you guys are not necessarily people, you're not like people that are like, I need all the attention, I need all eyes on me. I feel you're really not like that, pile number 2. But it may be time to step up and kind of be like that in a way, because I feel like, you know, for those of you that are facing opposition, you have the power to do something about it, I feel, okay? And I do feel like people are gonna listen, pile number 2. You know, I don't know if they've seen like a really mad pile number 2 yet, because I feel you guys, you know, you are very refined. It says you possess a refined mind. I also think that you're a very refined person as well. And you have greater awareness than, you know, most people do. And so, yeah, and I feel you guys are very aware of the way your actions affect other people. And because of that, you do your best. But Sun Mars is also like needing to stand up and say, yeah, I am good at what I do. Yeah, I do a good job. And yes, I am deserving. Okay. So let's see what your employer thinks of you. We have 4 of Pentacles. We have 4 of Swords. Oh boy. Just barely hanging on. You know, it's like just maintaining, but not. And I feel some of you are like, yeah, I'm not doing extra shit. Like, you know, I've been doing a ton of extra shit and I don't feel like doing any more extra shit. We have Knight of Pentacles here, very dedicated, very loyal, dependable, all of that. We have the 10 of Cups. Okay, so I feel like, you know, your employer wants to give you, I feel like they think maybe you've just been tired or haven't been as motivated, or you haven't been as like your normal self. But I feel like they think if they give you like some other thing to do or some other project, that you're going to be really happy. Okay. And if they give you like, if they give you like something to do, or you have a task to do, I feel like your employer's interesting, pile number 1, because they think, or pile number 2, because they think if pile number 2 has something to do, they're happy. You know, we got to put them to work and give them plenty to do, because we don't want pile number 2 to be bored, you know, and we want pile number 2 to reach their potential. And we want pile number 2 to be happy, okay? But I also feel like your employer knows that you haven't been, you know, like really wanting to do anything else. I feel like you guys are like, you know, leave me the F alone a little bit here, okay? And I feel like your employer is like, you know, when you have a consistent amount of work to do, like you're happy. And I feel like they know that they have to be very consistent with you. But I also feel like they're not really giving a raise. You know what I mean? They're not really giving a promotion. They're not really giving a raise. They're not really changing too many things here. They don't really, I don't feel like they're super motivated to, I feel like what they think is, well, as long as you give people rewarding work and they can be proud of what they're doing and they're making a living, Like, that's good enough. And I don't know. I don't know necessarily how you feel about that. I also feel like that they know that you need to spend some time with family with this 10 of Cups, or that perhaps you need to take a vacation, or perhaps you need some time away to focus on like family, and that you're tired, or that you need time to recover from something so that you'll work hard again and be happy again. Okay. But I also feel like I don't know. The thing is I don't really like their attitude. Pile number 2. I feel like they're kind of greedy, or they're kind of like, like, well, you should love what you're doing, or, be grateful for what you have, or, here's the thing. I don't think they're going to change in any massive ways. And I don't think, I feel like, I also feel like they don't think that you're going to really go anywhere, like that you're not really going to leave them, and that maybe you just need some time off, or maybe you just need some rest, okay? Or spend some time with family, or spend some time focusing on other things. But there is kind of an energy here of things not really changing that much. I do feel like they want to see you fulfilled or happy or liking what you do. Okay. And I do think they think that you're very good at what you do. Pile number 2. Okay. But I feel like this company is kind of stingy with the raises or the money, or they're kind of greedy in a way, and they don't treat their employees really all that good. They could be a very stuffy or formal way of treating people at times, or looking down on people for having other priorities, or, I feel like they give lip service to family and, this type of thing. And, a lot of employers, oh, we're all like family around here. We all care. We're all, one big family type of thing. But then they can be incredibly like greedy, stingy, like, not giving a lot and that type of thing. Like telling you, oh, well, you can take unpaid leave if you need to, rather than, actually helping people out. Or the whole joke online of the employer just giving everyone a pizza party instead of giving them a raise, that type of shit. So, and you guys may be deciding like, yeah, I do need to spend more time with family, or I do need to spend more time with my kids, or I do need to spend more time, attending to things at home. Like you guys may be deciding, I need to spend more time. Like I can't always be available to these people, and I do feel like they want you to get well, but I also or feel better, but I also feel like they are always looking at the bottom line, pile number 2, if you know what that means, okay? So let's look at you finding another job. Should you find another career? 10 of Pentacles, Judgment, ooh, okay. Page of Cups, and Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so here's the thing with your current job. I do feel like it's really secure. I don't feel like you're getting fired. I don't feel anything like that with this 10 of Pentacles. I feel, some of you could work for like a family-owned company. And I'm not necessarily saying you work for your family business, but somebody else's family business perhaps you work for. And I feel like here's the thing. Some of you could have been at this company for a really long time is another thing that I'm getting for some of you here, okay? Or considering your work history, you've been with this company for a while, or you've had a good run with them, or you've been around with them for a little bit here. But I kind of feel like some of you want to completely change what you're doing and do something entirely different and have a completely different change in your profession overall is what I'm getting. But I also feel like, you're a little unsure about that, pile number 2, because you're unsure of whether you want to shake the foundation that you've stood on or the ground that you've stood on. And I kind of feel for those of you that have family commitments as well with the Ten of Pentacles, or you've got loans, or you've got student loans you have to pay off, you've got family commitments, you've got pets, you've got, health insurance, there's things, right, with having a job that we kind of need to have. Like, it's hard to exist without those things, and I feel like, you guys really care a lot about, you're very dedicated to, and even if you just have 9 cats, pile number 2, like, you're very dedicated to family, you're very dedicated to, pulling your fair share of the weight. Some of you, may be amazing aunties or uncles. Some of you may have a dream of owning a home with the Knight of Pentacles and 4 of Cups, and or having a beautiful home or having a beautiful family. And for those of you that already have kids or have family, I feel like you have responsibilities. And for those of you that work for a family business or a closely held business or a tightly knit business, I also feel like some of you worry about what would happen if you left, or if you left the company, especially if those people have kids or people that depend on them. Because again, I feel like you're really pulling a lot of the weight. But, why do I feel like they're not giving you what you deserve is what I feel, pile number 2, okay? But I see the intensity of this choice, because I also feel like, if you quit or if you just entirely leave and go pursue what you want to pursue. And some of you may be very interested in an artistic career with the Page of Cups here. You may be, and especially with the Sun too, and you're looking at what is going to bring you the most joy. Perhaps some of you, acting, modeling, painting, any kind of thing with artistry, spiritual careers, things. The hard part is there's this longing in your soul, and I feel some of you have inner child needs that you want to express yourself creatively. I'm also feeling music for some of you, singing, music, dancing, and I feel some of you could have had a very controlling or overbearing mother or a family member. It could be an older sister or a mother or somebody who really made you feel like you didn't, your talents weren't worthy of something, and really maybe almost even scared you into pursuing a more traditional path. Or I feel some of you here could have had a parent that was very hard on you, very critical, very judgmental, that expected a lot out of you, or was just putting you down at times, pile number 2, or would hold things over your head financially, this type of energy, okay? And Queen of Pentacles, it could have been, I'm seeing a mother here, but it could have been a father like that too. And this person knowing what would bring you joy, or knowing what you're really motivated to do, but just poo-pooing that or not supporting you in that. And I feel some of you have real hidden soul talents with Judgment here that are pulling over from a past life, pile number 2. Something that you're incredibly talented at, something that you maybe dreamed about doing when you were a child or when you were younger. And I feel like you guys kind of feel like you're going to disappoint people if you point your life in a different direction. And I feel this is very emotional, actually, with Judgment and the Page of Cups. I mean, there's practical considerations for sure. Perhaps some of you are trying to care for aging parents, or you've got children you need to take care of, or you've got practicalities you need to consider in your life. When I see the Queen of Pentacles, oftentimes she represents somebody who works in healthcare or somebody who works in nursing or some type of healthcare, you know, this type of thing. For those of you that have those types of careers as well. I mean, there's money, and I'm not telling you guys like abandon your stream of income, walk away and just fuck it. I'm definitely not saying that, pile number 2. I've been there myself, and let me tell you, it's not an easy path. And it can be a very intimidating path, you know, thinking of doing something different or pulling off something totally creative and different than what you built or what you set out to do can be extremely intimidating. And I do feel some of you wonder, you know, am I ready to like branch out like that? Am I ready just to say fuck it to whatever, you know? And you know, I feel like your motivation, a lot of you here with the sun, huge amounts of creativity, huge amounts of, you know, artistic ability for some of you here, definitely past life talents, big time, okay? And I feel some of you could have had family members that were jealous of you or jealous of your talents or skills. And pile number 2, you just are overly critical people that made you second guess who you are and what you're really here to do. And I do feel like there's some soul searching for you guys, pile number 2. I'm not going to tell you guys to just go out and find a new job right now, because I feel like some of you need to take care of yourselves emotionally with this sorrow over a loss and surrender, 12th house. I do feel like you need to take some time away. I do feel like you need to rest. I do feel like you need to put some time and energy into some other things besides work, okay? But I also feel like maybe it's time, like even if you're mad at your work, some of you still may feel responsible. Like I still, even though I'm mad and I need a break and too much has been dumped on me, I still feel bad for like, you know, taking time or leaving or whatever. And, you know, working on, if you guys struggle with guilt, okay, Page of Cups, Judgment, if you struggle with guilt or struggle to find your voice in situations, or you've ever struggled with people pleasing, or you've struggled with, you know, doing things to appease other people, I do think that's something that on a soul level, you're having to kind of face right now. And I do feel there's like an inner thing that's going on within you. And I do feel there's an inner evolution happening with you with this Page of Cups and Judgment. And I feel like with this 10 of Pentacles, your guides are saying, you're going to be okay. You're going to be taken care of no matter what. But I do feel some of you are really needing to do some inner work and healing. And I mean, we all need to do it, but I feel like your soul needs it right now. And, you know, inner work, inner turmoil. If you're feeling that, pile number 2, I feel like that's kind of where your attention needs to go most right now. And I feel once that inner work is done and once that's transpired, I feel like you're going to be ready for the next step in your life, okay? And I feel like some of you are going to need to take a really big step and show a lot of confidence in yourself, okay, with this Mars and Sun. And it's like, it's not just that you're the nice person who does everything for other people. You actually need to be seen and appreciated for the unique, brilliant talents that you're bringing to the table, okay? And I feel some people in your life could be very surprised by who you are, pile number 2, you know? And I see you guys are in turmoil about it. And, you know, here's what I feel. I feel you guys are really developing the confidence and the inner reserve in order to, like, you're in a cocoon phase right now, because I feel like you're gathering steam, you know, fire and water, Judgment plus Page of Cups equals steam. Like, you know, the steam is gathering, and what comes out of it is going to be a very self-assured, very practical, self-assured, but talented yet creative human being, okay? And I do feel at some point that your career is going to change directions. Should you do it exactly right now? I think, like I said, we need to focus on, some emotional and some spiritual things that are going on. But I think when the time is right, I do think your career is going to change in big ways. Pile number 2, okay? In the future, I do feel it will. Absolutely. Absolutely. And even if you're, 50 years old, it doesn't matter. I was 41 when my career changed in a massive way. It's never too late. Life happens, right? And, sometimes when we get older and we save more money and we get bolder, things happen, and we do things differently, okay? But I do think there is a very practical side to how you look at things as well, pile number 2, which is good. And some of you may actually be very good with money, or you're really needing to save money, or you're really needing to become practical and good with money. But I am seeing people here who could actually be good with money, okay? And so pile number 2, that is what I am getting for you, my loves. I hope that reading resonated for you. And I hope I answered your question as well. I feel like I repeated the answer a couple times in different ways. So I hope you received that. Thank you so much, pile number 2. Appreciate you, and have a great rest of your day. Let's move on to pile number 3. Okay, then. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the grapes, and today's reading is called What Does Your Employer Think About You, and Should You Apply for a New Job? Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it for my gorgeous pile number 3s. Thank you so much for being here today. Some days we just need motivation. We just need somebody to encourage us and tell us we did a good job and that everything's going to be okay. You know how that is, pile number 3? I know how that is. Let's go ahead and see for my pile number 3s. I love that TikTok video where they're like, bitch, you doing a good job. You doing a good job. It's so cute. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see. What does pile number 3's employer think about them, and should they apply for a new job? Let's see. There we go. All right, pile number 3. And ooh, 6 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Lovely. Beautiful. In this deck in particular with the butterfly, I like that. Let's go ahead and see. Moving on up. So pile number 3. Let's look at your oracle cards and then we'll look at the tarot, okay? We have here Lily, spiritual love. Oh my goodness. Okay. You're like, well, yeah, I am thinking about my career, but I'm also like thinking about love. Okay, pile number 3. We have here mice, discord among friends or family. Yeah, you guys got some stuff going on. You got, perhaps some of you are crushing on someone, or you're really liking someone, but there's also a lot of disorganization happening around you right now. Perhaps things at work are feeling very disorganized, okay? We have here labyrinth. Yeah, going in circles, going in circles. It's a journey. Life's a journey. All right, we have buffalo and abundance. Ooh, okay. All right, I'm already getting something about your employer and what they think, okay? So pile number 3, don't shoot the messenger, all right, my darlings? And perhaps that's why we needed to pump it up in the beginning and say, bitch, you doing a good job. You doing a good job, like that. Because I feel like some of you are like, I'm failing, I'm not doing a good job, I'm miserable. Perhaps some of you just started a new job, or you're just trying to do something new. Or perhaps you just haven't been in your lane, or you've been learning something new, or the mojo's been a little okay? And perhaps some of you are feeling a little bit escapism, like thinking about somebody, and perhaps you've been a little bit lost at work. I like spiritual love, but it's not really work kind of feeling. It's more like, looking out at, the window or whatever and going, oh, wow, spiritual love, that type of thing. And I'd really love this person to be in my life, and I'd really like this to happen. And, kind of like maybe you guys are feeling like lonely, or you're feeling like you're wanting something to come into your life and inspire you or give you that sense of purpose again. But I feel like you guys may be feeling a little whimsical at work, or, and perhaps, okay, don't shoot the messenger, pile number 3, but I kind of feel like your employer may think that you're being a little bit disorganized, or you're being a little bit of a space cadet, or perhaps you've been like forgetting things, or, maybe showing up a little bit late, or maybe you're forgetting some stuff, or, and I feel like some of you, maybe you're just, I also feel like you guys may not be super happy with what you're getting paid, and you're wanting to get paid more, or you're wanting to find something that, perhaps some of you just don't like the pay, because we do have Buffalo with abundance, but this Buffalo looks very sad. This Buffalo looks like, I don't have any abundance, I feel like crap. Okay. And Buffalo is very hardworking energy, but Buffalo energy could also get very heavy. It's very earth-bound energy. And it's kind of like, I'm looking for something else. Perhaps some of you are looking for another job right now, but you're feeling kind of disappointed with the process, or you're feeling like, I don't really know what I want. I just know I don't like what I'm getting paid, or, I need to do something different because this isn't working. Okay. And, or maybe some of you took a job that actually offered you more money, but you're lost, or you feel like you're not knowing what's going on, and you're like, I don't really know what's going on. Like, and here's the thing, pile number 3, let me tell you, like, some of the most, I was definitely no slouch when I was working for, 20 plus years in a finance career. And, it took me a while to like gain my confidence and my knowledge base and all of that. But, and there were moments in the beginning of my career where I felt like, I don't know if I can take this anymore. Like, I don't feel like I belong here. But I made it up to some of the highest ranks in my profession before I left. So I just want to say, pile number 3, words of encouragement, my friends. Like, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling discouraged, if you're feeling down, like I always tell people, if you invested a lot into something, give it 6 months and see how you feel in 6 months. If you haven't grown, if you don't feel like you know more of what you're doing, or you don't feel more accomplished, or you're still feeling really ick, like at least give yourself 6 months, and that usually will help, but perhaps some of you are like, yeah, I know my employer is not like, maybe some of you feel like you're not living up to their expectations, or you can tell that they're not like super happy, or you feel like they're giving you menial tasks because you're not getting it, or you're not getting something quickly. Pile number 3, just, it's okay, my friends. Let me tell you, being 41 years old, actually I'm 43, I'm not 41 anymore, having been around the block a lot, and I've been working since I was 14 years old. I had a job since I was 14 years old, seen a lot of things. Don't get down on yourself, okay? Pile number 3, I just want to tell you guys that. Don't get down on yourselves. We have here sextile and opportunity. I love that. Possibilities, doors opening for you, welcome developments coming in your career, okay? An opportunity for you guys to make more money, I feel, as well, for those of you that are wanting to make more money. And perhaps some of you are thinking, well, should I go back to school, or should I do this? I could make more money, but it's just so overwhelming. And perhaps some of you are experiencing discord among your friends or family, and the energy is just like all over the fucking place, and you're like, I don't know, and you're just kind of There's a lot going on, I feel, pile number 3. And you could feel like, man, I do want to go back, or I do want to earn more money, but I don't know. It just seems so overwhelming. Labyrinth, okay? So we'll talk about that, pile number 3, because there's going to be opportunities for you to grow in abundance and opportunities for you to connect and get ahead. Now, here's an interesting thing. When I first moved to a big city and got my first big city job, years and years ago, I realized, working at the company that I was at, that I had 12 different bosses, and over half of them were extremely meticulous Virgos, okay? So let me tell you, that first year, I felt like a failed ballerina who was literally like, get back up, that's wrong, that's not right, fix this, fix that. You know, like I was like, oh my God, I have 12 bosses and 6 of them are Virgos. Like, what hell have I entered? And anyway, my Saturn's in Virgo, obviously pile number 3. So I had karma to pay back there. But anyway, so I just want you guys to say, like, sometimes, and I definitely was feeling that I'm not good enough energy at that time, or I'm failing in some way. I just want to encourage you guys, okay? And just say it's going to get better. Sextile, opportunity. We have I am perceptive. Pile number 3, you're very sensitive. You're very perceptive. You already know what your employer feels about you. But let me tell you something. For you in pile number 3, for those of you who are empathic, intuitive, use that to open doors where you're at. And once I figured out that I could use my, psychic skills in the workplace and in meetings and with customers and clients, I was like, whoa, I can do this, and it really did help. And so, being perceptive or being intuitive in a workplace, especially if you're in a very left-brained workplace, but you consider yourself to be more of a right-brained person, then use your intuitive abilities and faculties to help you get ahead in those situations at work. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Pile number 3, using the God-given gifts that you were given, my babies. So let's see here. It says you have an inquisitive mind that allows you to uncover important truths. You have a special ability to read into other people's feelings. Uh-oh. Pile number 3. Uh-oh. A wisdom seeker. You are a wisdom seeker, and your angels ask you to share your knowledge for the benefit of others. I am perceptive, okay? And sharing your knowledge for the benefit of others, perhaps some of you will have opportunities to teach in the future. People who are very perceptive that get into teaching professions often do very well. And, maybe being a trainer or, mentoring others, teaching others, you guys may be very good at that. I also feel once you guys learn the technical aspects of what you're doing and get very organized with it, time management with it, you guys could become very powerful mentors and leaders to other people, okay? We need perceptive people and people who understand what's happening around them on an intuitive level. We need people like that in the workforce, because there is there's definitely a deficit of that in the workplace, okay? But sometimes our sensitivity can overwhelm us and get the best of us. So hopefully, there is this energy. I love the 6 of Swords for remaining, like, having a clear and calm mind and keeping like a certain level of detachment, okay? And also remembering who the fuck you are, because the 6 of Swords is the Lord of earned success, okay? So you're definitely gonna have more opportunities, I feel, come your way as well. We have Capricorn and achieve. Yes, that climb up the mountain and that ability to kind of persevere through difficult territory and difficult terrain. Of course, the Capricorns are represented by the goat. And you think about goats climbing on difficult terrain. They're like standing on the sides of mountains. Like, how did they even get there? They're traversing over very difficult, rocky, uneven terrain, and it isn't easy. And you have to, use all your skills, right? And I do feel you guys are very determined, though, with Buffalo here and Capricorn. I feel you guys are very determined to get it right, okay? And perhaps some of you are sensing that your boss or your employer would like to see more ambition from you or more determination from you, but I feel like you have that. I also feel like you guys are determined to prove people wrong and be like, no, I can fucking do this. Like, fuck you. I don't know why I'm swearing so much in your reading, but I feel like you guys are like, no. You may perceive me to be a particular way, but I will show you, okay? And I love that. I love that energy, pile number 3. I do, because I feel like you guys are not one to give up. We have Libra and balance. Ooh, I love that. Okay, somebody who's practical and determined, but also somebody, I feel you guys have very sound judgment, and you actually have the ability to make very wise business decisions. There is a reason why Saturn is exalted in Libra. That is because the elegance of Libra and the ability to weigh out multiple things and look at multiple situations, the ability to do that is unparalleled when we see that Saturn in Libra. Saturn loves to be in Libra. We have Capricorn and Libra. Perhaps some of you work in a legal profession as well, because we have Libra here, but there also is, and perhaps we have some office managers here with Capricorn and Libra, people that work in legal departments, paralegals. But I also feel like you guys want to make it to management someday. And you know what? Here's the thing, pile number 3. You guys would be amazing managers, because not only would you get results, but you also would do it in a way that's ethical, fair, balanced, considers other people, considers their needs, all of this type of thing, okay? And I do feel like your employer hired you for a reason. They like your energy, okay? And they like that you're, considerate towards others, and that also that you appear to be like a person who's considerate of others, but also very intelligent and hardworking, okay? And, I feel like that's why you were hired, and I think your employer still believes that about you, for sure, pile number 3, okay? So I just want you to know that, and I think you guys are going to be very successful, and I think you're working on it right now, pile number 3, and it isn't an easy, journey, but I also feel like your work or your boss or your employer could be very objective, and that's not that's a good thing, I think, because it's like, okay, I'm not going to play favorites. I'm going to give the promotion to the person who deserves it the most. I'm going to weigh the alternatives, and I'm going to make rational business decisions based on, merit or, ethical principles, which, some of you with this Capricorn here, you may work in a more traditional environment. I don't necessarily feel that it's like that. For those of you working in that type of environment, I don't feel like it's necessarily a bad thing for you, because it's not bad to have structure and discipline. It's not bad to kind of challenge ourselves to learn more and, have ambition and sharpen our skills. That's definitely a good thing for people, and some of you may just feel like, yeah, I've been going through a hard phase, but I'm not gonna give up on, what I'm doing. So let's see what else we've got. Libra energy can also rationalize things a lot, and perhaps you guys do that a lot as well. You'll rationalize people's behavior at times, And you have to be careful about that with perception, you know, and I noticed that with really perceptive Libra energy, we can oftentimes rationalize people's poor behavior. And some of you may do that with your family or friends, because we see this discord among family or friends, and you can tell like the tense energy in the air. And perhaps some of you are having to be the mediators here with this Libra energy between these things going on. You're also trying to, you know, feel something in your love life, perhaps, or wanting to have a love life of a deep connection here, okay? But I also feel like you're not wanting to rationalize things and make excuses for people anymore either, if you've done that in the past. So let's see how your employer looks at you. We have the Tower, we have the Ten of Wands, we need a reset. We have the Five of Cups, okay? And we have Strength, okay. You know what? You've been tested, you know, you definitely have been tested, pile number 3. And, you know, there's some energy with the Tower of like, well, something feels like a little bit of a disaster, or something feels perhaps, you know, some paperwork didn't get filed, or a filing deadline was missed, or something a file or paperwork didn't get filled out correctly. Have you guys ever seen The Office from the 90s where that boss is like, I'm gonna need those TPS reports, you know? It's like, give it up with the TPS reports already. But anyway, perhaps there was something that got messed up, or didn't get done correctly, or something that got, you know, disorganized. What I'm seeing is perhaps something that happened, you know, and I feel like your boss is saying, or your employer is saying, well, maybe we put too much expectation with the Ten of Wands, or I kind of feel like they think it's their fault a little bit here too, you know, like it's a little bit our fault. Did we put too much expectations on pile number 3? Did we like overload them or overwhelm them without giving them enough training? You know, like I kind of feel with the Five of Cups, they have some regret, like, you know, they should have, and hopefully they're not passing the buck off on you and blaming you, pile number 3. That's the worst thing. You know, if people are not giving proper training and they're not given proper time to adjust, and no one's really reviewing their work, and there isn't anyone mentoring anyone, I mean, what the hell can they expect, right? Pile number 3, like what in the absolute hell can they expect in an environment like that, you know? And I think they're gonna have to accept some responsibility in this situation too, for the way that things have been going, because, you know, if the environment's been a hot mess and there hasn't, and perhaps the employer is not doing well themselves, perhaps they are a shit show, you know, and that can happen. And oftentimes we don't always realize that right away when we start working at a new place, because, or there's a lot of layoffs, or there's just a lot of shit happening, and, you know, things don't get done because, I mean, people need to be guided. They need to be trained properly. I just, you know, I don't have a lot of sympathy for your employer if that's the kind of thing that they're doing. I do think they're going to get control of the situation with the Strength card here. And I think they're going to get control of it rather quickly. And I do think, you know, that they're going to, I do feel like they're going to talk to you about it, or perhaps you guys have already had a conversation with them, and perhaps they've told you, like, we need you to stop doing XYZ 1, 2, 3. I hope they haven't said, if you don't stop doing XYZ 1, 2, 3, then you're out of here. I hope they haven't said anything like that, pile number 3, to you, because I feel like that would be very unfair to you, just because, like, you know, I also just feel like they put too much on you. They could have put too much on you way too soon. And, you know, I feel like they fucked up, you know, and so now they need to get control of the situation and they need to figure out what's going on, and they need to set things on a better path, okay? And I mean, I feel like they're going to stick it out with you, though, pile number 3. I don't feel like you're going to get fired tomorrow or anything like that, pile number 3. But, I mean, I feel like they're going to stick it out with you with the Strength card here. And I do feel like the energy is going to even out and it is going to be okay. But I do feel like there's some regret on their part or remorse with the 5 of Cups, like Jesus, you know, because I feel like somebody at that company now looks bad, you know, or maybe they got reamed out by their boss or something like that. Like, you know, the buck stops here, and somebody with the Strength card needs to step up and be a leader in the situation, you know. And so we can't just have employees doing free-for-alls, you know. We have to have leaders that are competent, that can, you know, lead. And so I do think that somebody could have gotten in trouble because maybe they didn't give enough oversight, or maybe they weren't there when you had questions or needed them. I do feel like that person could be reprimanded, pile number 3. You know, and if they're a good leader, they'll take responsibility for whatever's been going on and make it their prerogative to, you know, fix it. And I feel like there's a good chance of that, okay? With the Strength card here, I do feel like there is a good, like, that's kind of the saving grace. Something could get up to leadership, and perhaps they're afraid that you're going to quit at this point. You know, with the Tower and the 10 of Wands, they could think that you've had enough and you don't like it. And, you know, but I also feel like with this sextile and opportunity and Strength, I do feel like there's going to be second chances given to people. I do feel like there's going to be better, you know, I do feel like things have the ability to improve, pile number 3, okay? So, you know, your employer definitely thinks that perhaps you've been in over your head, or you've been very overwhelmed. And, you know, and I do feel like your employer thinks that perhaps you have resentment towards them with the 5 of Cups, or that you're upset or cold or have some resentment towards them because of all of this. And, you know, if they actually step up and take responsibility, then okay, you know. But let's see for you. We have, should you take a new job? We have the Page of Swords. We have the Hermit. Oh yeah, I was talking about those, you know, 6 Virgo bosses that I had back in the day. Oh man, okay. We have the Page of Wands. Interesting energy, okay? And then we have the 8 of Pentacles, more Virgo, okay? The point of the matter here, pile number 3, look at the lion head on the Page of Wands and look at the lion over here. So I do feel that this person that should have been, you know, telling you what to do or helping you with things, I do feel like that person is going to come back in and show you the way, or help you with things, or show you what to do. But I also feel like you're kind of, I feel like the person has a little bit of an attitude with you, or is a little impatient with you. And I feel like you're a little bit sad about it, you know? And I feel like you're like, geez, what did I do wrong, you know? And I feel like this person's a little sassy with you, or they're a little impatient, or they're a little rude, or they're not very nice, you know? And I do feel like this person gets in trouble, you know, because they weren't doing what they should be doing. But I also feel like they come back in to pick up the slack and tell you what to do. But I also feel like you guys are kind of like, they may be giving you busy work, or they may be just having you do like menial tasks or do little type jobs, but I also feel like this person has kind of a shitty attitude towards you. And I feel like it makes it a little uncomfortable, you know? And I feel like you guys are like, geez, are you still going to kind of hold that against me? Like, come on, you know? And I don't know what is up this person's butt, pile number 3. I really don't. I don't know why they have such a huge stick up their butt about everything. You know, some people are just really bad at training other people. They're really, they don't, you know, they're like, well, I learned this like super fast, or, you know, nobody really had to show me anything. Like, why do I have to show you something? You know, that whole type of energy is just so immature. It's such a shitty energy. And I feel like you guys are perceiving that somebody doesn't really like you too much, you know, for some reason. Now, I feel like you guys are going to, you know, end up working on a big project at the company or working on something daily, and you're going to get very good at it, okay? And I honestly feel at the end of the day with this Capricorn and Libra here that you could surpass this person or whoever's been trying to train you or whatever. I mean, I don't like this person's attitude towards you. Pile number 3 is the thing. And I don't like the way they're making you feel. Like, I do not like that. And I don't like the impatience. I don't like the rudeness. I don't like the attitude. I really, you know, if I work with this person, pile number 3, I would slap them upside the head. And I did that one time. You know, I was a manager back in the day, and I was a senior manager, and one of the managers was trying to have an intern work on something, but did nothing to explain it to them or help them. And the intern like knocked on my office door and was almost in tears. And I had to pull that manager inside and tell them, hey, that's not how we do things around here. You know, and he was such an impatient dick. But I remember telling him, you can't just, they're interns, they're brand new. You can't just, you have to sit down and help them. And actually it might've been a brand new staff, but I told them you can't just give them something and walk away, you know, and treat them like there's somebody who's been here for 5 years. Like, you have to show them. I mean, what are you doing? So I don't know why that's coming up right now, pile number 3. I don't know why I'm bringing so many personal stories into your reading, but perhaps you're needing to hear that, you know, it's completely inappropriate if a person is acting this way towards you and making you feel that way. And it can make a person feel very like, you know, like everyone's watching them or looking at them. It can make a person feel kind of ashamed or like they're bad. I just want you to know, pile number 3, you're awesome, you're great, you're doing good. Everybody deserves an opportunity to learn and grow, you know? So whatever to that person. Now, as far as you leaving the company over here, I do feel like some of you with this Page of Swords energy, you could be searching for another job already, or you could be looking for other opportunities already, okay? And I feel like you guys are very eager to learn from somebody who's very detailed and hands-on and knows how to be patient and take the time to kind of show things, okay? And I kind of also feel like there's this thing about you guys where you're like, if I leave this company, I'm allowing this other person to win, okay? And I actually think that you guys are gonna stick around. I'm making a prediction. I feel you guys are gonna stick around and, you know, learn everything there is to know. And you're super intelligent, pile number 3, Page of Swords, and you soak up information and knowledge when you have that focus and you've got the right person and all of that. I feel like you're going to become the hermit. You're going to become a badass at what it is that you're working on. Page of Swords and the Hermit, you guys are going to become a true badass at what you're doing, I feel, okay? And you're going to surpass this person anyway, all right? and they're just a bump in the road, I feel like. I actually feel, you know, you guys are, I do feel there's an opportunity here with this Page of Swords, and I do feel like some of you could be looking or putting your resume out there, but I also feel this Hermit energy here. You guys are like stubborn in a way, pile number 3, and I also feel like you have this thing about you where you're like, you know, because I feel you are very hardworking, and you're like, I'm not gonna let this person defeat me in any way. I'm gonna learn everything there is to know, and I'm gonna wipe the floor with their ass, okay? Pile number 3, I approve of that, I appreciate it, and I like it. Now, does it mean that you don't need, you know, that you could put your resume out there? Yeah, I do think with the Page of Swords, you could float your resume out there. I do think there could be interest. You may talk to some other companies, but I kind of feel like you make the choice to stay there because you're like, I'm not letting, there's opportunity here. I'm not letting this get me down. I'm going to actually I feel you guys really apply yourself with intense focus, discipline, knowledge, effort, intelligence, and this person becomes what they're meant to be, which is like sand in my underwear, as Rosie Perez would say. Anyway, pile number 3, that is what I am getting for you, my loves. Thank you so much for joining your reading today. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I know I enjoyed giving it. And take care, everybody.